My name is Oluwafemi. Uh, I'm the tour guide for this segment of the museum. So, the theme for this segment is Nigerian Art in the Circle of Life. So basically, this segment talks about the various major stages of life that as documented by our forebearers. That's what this section is all about. In this segment, we have different stages. We have what we call the fertility and birth. We have the initiations. We have wisdom and learning. We have adult life. We have to 6 is all about our culture and traditions. While the last one talks about the influence or the impact of colonialism on our culture and tradition. That's what this segment talks about. Welcome to National Museum Lagos. So here is fertility and birth as documented by our forebearers. In Nigeria, we have 3 major ethnic groups: the Yorubas, the Hausas, and the Igbos. The Yorubas are found in mostly the western part of Nigeria. The Hausas are found mostly in the northern part of Nigeria. And the Igbos are found mostly in the eastern part of Nigeria. So we have different culture for these 3 major ethnic groups. And we have over 215 other ethnic groups spread across the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. So in Nigeria, our cultural institutions are led by people called Ifa priests. The Yorubas call them Babalawo. The Igbos call them Dibia. The Hausas call them Buka. These are the people in charge of our traditional institutions. And whenever we have issues surrounding childbearing, we have these priests that will find solutions to what our problems are and how to solve these problems. And these items you see here are what they use for consultation. We have Opon Ifa, which is the tree, and we have Opele Ifa, which is the chain. And these are the 2 objects that they use for consultation whenever we approach them for our problems. And then over here is what we call the child's bed. For every object you see here are very essential during childbearing. The wooden tray is where the woman who's about to give birth to her baby, she's asked to sit on it in the northern part of Nigeria. Then the wooden gong is used to announce the arrival of the baby. And then the clay pot is used to bury the umbilical cord of the baby. So there's a cord that connects the child and the mother. It's called the placenta. And so in our culture, we believe the placenta is as important as the baby. So when the child is born and the placenta is out, we put it in the clay pot and then we bury it using the hoe. And then there's another stage here called child and mother care. For every object you see here, they are very essential in taking care of the baby and the mother. We have the palm oil, you have the shea butter, and then you have the black soap. In our culture, when you want to bathe a baby the first time, you rub the palm oil on the body of the baby, you use the black soap to bathe the child, and then you apply shea butter. It prevents body rashes for the baby and also body odor also. And then in our culture, we also have what we call Uda and Uziza. These are items used for pepper soup, spicy. It helps the woman to cleanse her womb and help her to go back to what her belly used to be before childbirth. And then you have what we call Oja. The one on the wall is used to support the child when you back a baby. You use it to support it so that the child will not fall off. We now use baby carrier. That's what we use. Then the next stage is called initiation. In our culture, as documented by our forebearers, every stage matters. And every stage that a man or a woman gets into, there are people that welcome in to sweetness, that the child will bring sweetness and joy to the family he or she is born into. That's all about right of birth. And then you have right of eldership and chieftaincy. You want to become a king or a chief. There are also people that welcome you into that stage of life. And these are some of the items we give to our chiefs and our kings. The one standing on the wall is called staff of office. Yorubas call it Opashe. This is a symbol of power and authority for a king. And then you have the fly whisk. Yoruba call it Irukere. A king uses it to breathe, to bless, and to curse. And then you have a special stool here for the women in Igbo culture. Is a symbol of power for a woman, and also it is used as a form of social ranking for a woman. Also in Igbo culture, a man gives this gift to a woman, but she gets this gift when she gives birth to 10 or more children. It is called Ochewain in Igbo language. And then the next stage is called wisdom and learning. Wisdom and learning talks about the documentation of how our forebears were able to introduce us to knowledge. And one of the ways that we learn is learning by imitating. Learning by imitating. What do we mean by learning by imitating? We meant that when my father is a farmer, I'll learn farming. If my mother is a trader, I'll learn trading. If I come from the family of hunters, I'll learn hunting. That is what I mean by learning by imitating. So that's what this segment is all about. But in our culture, we have what we call Akosejare. This culture is not for the Yoruba people. Akosejare is the process of ascertaining a child's destiny so that you prepare that child according to his or her destiny. For instance, on the third day of birth, you take the child to the Ifa priest where they check it out. So if the child's destiny is to be a farmer, you do not force the child to be something else. So it's like a form of career counseling, if you want to use that word. And then you have adult life. Adult life this is called Ori Court. The Yorubas believe that the most important aspect of the body is the head. So if anything is wrong with a human being, they believe that it is the head that needs cleansing. So let me explain what Ori means. Ori simply means head, physically. But in this case, Ori also means the spiritual head of someone. So they believe that the physical form is connected to the spiritual form. So if the spiritual form aspect of someone is faulty, they have to appease that Ori. And then we have this cult where you can appease it with animal blood, fish blood, or kola nut. So that's what this is meant for. And then this is a loom. We call it loom, but Yorubas call it ofi. This is what we use to weave our traditional attire. Our traditional attires are what we used to weave from here. It's called asho ofi. It's known to the Yoruba people. We also use to weave our traditional mats also. So it's an occupation. Yes. And then up next is adult life. Adult life is a stage of maturity. Adult life is a stage of responsibility. As an adult, you are expected to have a home. As an adult, you are expected to have an occupation. As an adult, you are expected to partake in governance and leadership positions. As an adult, you are expected to partake in wars and then the likes. So in this place, everything pertaining to an adult life is what you get here. And I mentioned where we started that we have 3 major ethnic groups. So you find the 3 major ethnic groups huts here. This is the Hausa hut, and everything you see here is what you're expected to see in a typical Hausa homes. And this is how they build their homes in ancient times. And then you have the Igbo huts, and this is how the Igbos build their homes. And then everything you see here is what you're expected to see in a typical Igbo home. And then the Yorubas, this is the house. Yes, that is the Hausas. Hausas, the first one. This is the Yorubas, and this is what you're expected to see in a typical Yoruba homes. In the homes, you find the Asho Oke, which is the traditional attire of the Yoruba people. Then you find their mats, their locally made mats, and then you find their pots, their baskets, and their beads and their comb. That's all about the Yoruba race. And Orisha. They are not proper English word for Orisha. Orisha is Orisha. So we have different kind of Orishas. We have Sango, we have Eshu, we have Ogun, and the likes. So as an adult, you are at liberty to pick your own form of spirituality. And then, as an adult, you also partake, you have to have your occupations because you have to feed yourself and also your family. And you have to also be responsible. So we have weaving using the hand loom. And I mentioned it to you earlier, that this is called Ofi in Yoruba land. And this is what they used to weave their traditional attires and the mats. So it's an occupation. Weaving is an occupation. And then you have what we have here, the fowl cage. The fowl cage, Yoruba has called it ago edie. This is what we use to rear our fowls and chicken. So it's an occupation. You keep your fowls and chicken here for safety and protection. And then on the wall is what the Igbos called ugaro. It's used by palm wine tappers to climb the palm tree. Tapping the wine from the palm tree is an occupation also. It's called ugaro. And then the hoes are used by farmers. Fish traps are used for fishing. Billow are used by blacksmiths. And then after the vigil, we entertain ourselves by playing our locally made games. This is called Ayu. It's a locally made game. 2 people can play this game. I have 12 holes. Each of the holes has 4 balls. Yes. And then we entertain ourselves by playing different musical instruments. This is called Udu in Igbo culture. This is called tom piano. This is called shekere in Yoruba culture. And then this is a drum. It's known to the Yoruba people. Was. And then over here is also the war garments that our warriors wear to war. This is like a protective vest. Can liken it to a form of bulletproof. Because when our warriors turn to wisdom and learning, then to adult life. Now we are in death, burial, and funeral. In our culture, we believe when you grow old, you are expected to die. We believe it's a death that every human will pay for. So when we lose our loved ones, there are different burial rituals that we have to do before we eventually bury such person. One of it is the washing of the body of the dead. And so when we lose our loved ones, we wash the body using this calabash. And then after washing the body of the dead person, we will use different fabrics to cover them up. So, and these fabrics differ from different ethnic groups in Nigeria. If you are from the Ogoja ethnic group, they use the black and white clothes. If you are from Efik, we use the mats. If you are from the Igbo culture, you use these clothes to wrap the body of the dead before you eventually bury the person. And then when the person that died is of age, we do not necessarily have to mourn the dead. We rather celebrate the life. And that explains why in most of our burial ceremony, we entertain our guests, we offer them food and drinks. And what are the kind of drinks we offer? Traditionally, we offer palm wine, and this is palm wine container. And then you offer different animals that you kill during burial ceremonies. And then you entertain your guests using different musical instruments. This is a slit drum. It's known to the Igbo culture. This is called Oja. It's also known, it's a mouth fruit. It's known to the Igbo culture. This is Shekere. It's known to the Yoruba culture. And then we have masquerades. The masquerades are seen by our ancestors as a spirit being, connecting like a bridge between the living and the dead. So when our loved ones die, and if this loved one belong to a certain association, or they were king or chiefs before they die, the masquerade, we have to honor the dead by appearing. And then, because the masquerade welcome, the masquerade comes from, they see them as a spirit being. And so the masquerade comes from their abode. And then when they come out, they honor the dead. And then after that, they return back to the spirit world. Yes. And they die. They have the ability to return as an ancestor or as a form of human, as a baby. So in our culture, we have different ancestorship objects that we believe that people believe that when they pray to them for guidance, for protection, for provision, these ancestors have the ability to answer such prayers. And the ancestors' object differ from one region to another. Sorry. So we have Ungbedike, is known to the Igbos in Anambra State. We have Ejuegu ancestral address, is known to the Igala ethnic group in north-central part of Nigeria. We have the Mumuye ancestral figures, is known to the Mumuye people of Taraba State. They are found in the northeastern part of Nigeria. This is Osamasini, is from Owo in western part of Nigeria, the Yoruba people. Then here is Ejo figure from Irubo. Irubos are found in south part of Nigeria. And then we have another ancestral figure, is called Eku. It's known to the Ibibio people of Akwa Ibom State in the south part of Nigeria. Then over there is the Bini ancestral altar. The Bini are found in Nigeria, in southern part of Nigeria, and they used to be a very vast empires in the pre-colonial period. What is it, sir?
Is it the same as Dahomey?
No. It's not the same as Dahomey. Dahomey is present-day Benin Republic. Yes. But Benin is an empire in the pre-colonial period, which is a very vast empire, but is now a capital state for Edo State in southern part of Nigeria. So it's entirely different from Dahomey. Yes. So the Benin ancestral altar is where the king in Benin, called Oba of Benin, usually goes to communicate with his ancestral roots and also to understudy the various events that happened during his predecessor's time. For instance, the Benin does not document their history by writing. They document it by incision on objects. They inscribe it on an object like the elephant tusk. So every inscription on the elephant tusk is a documentation of an event during a particular king's reign. And then you have the Benin memorial head. The Benin memorial head is an object to keep in memory of their different kings in Benin culture. So for every king that has ruled in that kingdom, have a memorial head. And then this is the Benin bronze gong. It's used to announce the death of a king. So when you hear the sound of this gong, it means that the king has passed on. Yes. And then over here is the Eyo masquerade. Eyo masquerade is known to the Lagos people. So where we are is a state in Nigeria, in the western part of Nigeria. It's called Lagos. And this is the ancestral masquerade. Is masquerade, they call it an elite masquerade because it's when the king dies or an important son of the soil dies. That's where the masquerade comes out. And there's a popular festival called Eyo Festival. And the festival is usually held when the funeral of a king is about to be made, or an important son of the soil of Lagos dies, and you want to bury the person. A masquerade will also come out to honor the dead. It helps, it's called the spirit of the dead to grave the young, and also welcome a new king to the throne of Lagos. We also call this place Eko. That's the Yoruba word for Lagos. And then the last one is external ethno. Tell you also, your masquerade has 5 hierarchies, and their significance by their hats. So the color of their hat will tell you the kind of Eyo that you are saying. So this one is with the black hat. It's called Adimorisha. If you see the one with the red hat, it's called Laba. You see the one with the yellow hat, it's called Oniko. If you see the one with the green hat, it's called Ologede. You see the one with the purple hat, it's called Agere. So there are 5 hierarchies. One is the house. This is the highest. The black hat is called Adimu Orisha. Yes. So when you see the